How's your ankle?
It's doing better. Been putting in a lot of work the last couple weeks, and I could definitely see an improvement on it. Able to get through some sessions, was able to play the last 30 of the last game, so I think this break helped. It will continue to help to just do the treatment and get it right and be ready to go.
It was two different injuries, right?
It was all in the same play.
Uh-huh.
I think as it happened, I think it was Redondo went to play a pass, and he caught my foot a little bit, which turned my ankle. And then as I landed, it rolled again. So it was just two in the same moment.
So what percentage were you in that Miami game for those 30 minutes?
The last 30.
Yeah.
I think as the adrenaline kicked in, a couple Tylenols and whatnot. It was I was at a good percentage. I was happy going into the game with where I was at. I was confident in how the ankle was feeling, and I told them that if they needed me, I was ready to go. So it wasn't too bad.
How would you describe your emotions about the team being in this spot now?
I think with how the season went, I'm happy for us. Obviously, we had lots of ups and downs this season, lots of changes, and I think we deserve to have this little bit of moment of happiness. But at the end of the day, it's really important we stay focused on the goal at hand, which is to win the MLS Cup, and it starts one game at a time. So I think we're past that stage of the celebratory part of the victory against Miami, but right now we're focused on Orlando.
Did the injury keep you from getting called up?
It played a pretty decent factor. I think I wanted to be ready, and I think to go there and not be 100%, and I wasn't even sure how I would have been against Miami. So I think it played a really big factor in that.
Going back to game two, after the injury happened, how hard was it to manage what you could do to stay on the field as long as you could?
It was an interesting 70 minutes, I'd say. I think if you watch the game back, when the ball's not around me, I'm hobbling like I'm 80 years old. But as the ball came towards my direction, I was able to put it behind me a little bit. I still wasn't, able to sprint fully, but I was able to move at a pace that I was comfortable with and just try to, give as much as I can. And luckily, I was able to help see the game out, at least till the 88th minute or so. But went in at halftime, did some work on it. Didn't feel great, but it was good enough. And like I said, once that adrenaline kicks in, you're good. And the next morning was a bit of a struggle.
Do you remember the play late in that game? I think on Messi at the top of the 18. It was one of the last plays you made, I think, before you got subbed.
In the second game?
In the second game, yeah.
Not fully. You could maybe jog my memory a little bit.
Yeah, it was just a big tackle at that point, and you had been hobbling a pretty good bit up to that.
Yeah, not fully, but yeah. I appreciate you.
No, all good. All good. How disappointing was it to not be able to start game 3 because of the ankle?
It was a lot of conversations, obviously. I didn't want to... Obviously, I was happy with the decision. They thought that obviously the team comes first, so they weren't fully sure, how I was able to be. Obviously, I wasn't the happiest about it, but at the end of the day, it's not just about me. Going into it, I had 100% of faith in the team that went out onto the field. There was no question about that. But, you want to play as much as you can. And, the team put on a performance without me on the field. And I was just wanting to do my job and help see the game out. And, that's the great part about having a team. If it's not you at the moment, it's somebody else. And I had faith in the guys that went on the field.
What did it mean to get to celebrate Game 3 with all the fans, especially as you all walked over into that corner seeing all the red and black out there?
Yeah, it was a great feeling. I think the best part about it was, obviously we were the underdogs for the game, and who doesn't love an underdog story, I guess. I think, we put in a lot of work the upcoming weeks for this game, and we knew it was going to be difficult. And when you put in a lot of work and you work really hard to achieve something, and that goal happens, it just makes it feel a lot better. And to do it in front of those 17s that came down to the game, to the people watching, made it even better.
Looking at the season, a big push has been just believing in the team. How important is it to have that mentality as well as being able to focus on the tactics, but being able to go in with the right mentality into a game like that?
Yeah, I think for me, belief is everything. If you don't believe you're going to win going into a game, then there's no point in playing it, because that's a big battle in itself. And I think we believed in each other. I think for the last few games, it's been like a playoffs for us, dating back to Montreal at home, the game that we lost. After that, every game was kind of like a must-win for us. So we've we've had that run going for a while, and we've had the mentality of a must-win kind of season to end it off, and from there the belief starts to grow in each other, and we had a lot of belief going into these 3 games, and we were able to get the win. And what's important is we keep the belief going, and we go to Orlando with the same mindset.
What has Pedro brought to the team?
Assist. Yeah, but Pedro, he's a great player. He's somebody that doesn't get beat 1v1 very often. I enjoy playing with him. We tend to combine a little bit on the left, which is fun. And like I said, there's certain players when they get the ball in certain areas, you kind of know what to expect. And from him, when he's in that wide area, it's a good cross, and he delivers 9 times out of 10. And when you're able to rely on a player to give you the same thing every game, it makes my job a lot easier to trust in him.
It can take time for players to adjust to MLS, but it's like he's been playing in this franchise for years. Why do you think that's happened so seamlessly for him?
I think it's credit to his quality. I think there are some players that are able to just join the league and get going right away, and I think he did that. He's a smart player. He likes to play, and I think I helped him out quite a bit on that left side. So, let me stop. But he's great, and he's just a quality player. And when that happens, it's really easy for players to just fit in properly.
I'll make sure you take all the credit.
I don't do that.
How would you? To me, I was telling Rob this yesterday. It's like a left-footed Gressel. The cross is kind of coming in with that bend and that curve that people can attack. How would you when you watch his crosses? How would you describe them?
I think a lot of times I end up seeing the cross from behind the ball, and it's like you said, it's got dip, it's got swerve, it's got some curve on it, and I'm not a striker, but I know it's a striker's dream just in terms of the fact that it's got pace on it already. So all you got to do is redirect it, and I think that's something that a lot of strikers tend to ask for. Even when I find myself in those areas, I try to attempt to do the same thing, and he's somebody that's got it on lock. So I think it's just a lot of technique that goes into it, and he's got it.
In Jamal, he's really been impactful now that he's kind of consistently starting. What is he like off the field first?
Quiet, but when he does talk, it's always funny.
Okay.
He's a great guy. Obviously, we try to get him involved in conversations and stuff like that. He just ends up laughing, which is always good. To bring smiles to the locker room and stuff like that. Works on his English and whatnot, but for the most part, I think if you really want to get a deep dive into Jamal, you probably have to talk to Tristan, Q, John Day a little bit more to get those answers.
All right.
I got one more for you. You mentioned the Montreal game, the loss at home, and how it's been kind of knockout games ever since. This team's been so good on the road in these moments. Beyond just the belief, is there anything that you can point to about why this team has been so good away from home?
One thing I probably couldn't say. I think there's been an emphasis on the concentration levels. We tend to try and concentrate a little bit more from start to finish. I think earlier on in the season we had a few moments where tie a game or lose a game just because we didn't focus to the end, and I think that's been a main focus. But also too, like we have a togetherness, which is big. And when you go on the road and you have to deal with the home fans, it's important that we focus on us and what's going on in the field and trusting each other that we're going to do what we have to do. And I think just a lot of it, there is football that's obviously involved, but also just the bond that we have as a team is really important. That plays a factor as well.
Thanks, Jay.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Jay.